Good morning, everyone. I'm Jonah McLeod, and just hosting today. We have two speakers, John Min and Chris Jones. We'll get started in a few minutes. If you have questions, just add them to the chat, and we'll get to them either during the call if someone's available to answer, or we'll do the questions at the end of the session. Without further ado, I'll let each of the speakers introduce themselves, and we'll begin the presentation.
Hi, everybody. Welcome. Thanks for coming along. My name is Chris Jones. I'm the Director of Applications here at Crypto Quantique. As you can see here, I've been an FA for a lot of my career, working with a lot of the semiconductor guys, Cypress and Renesas, and also on the security side, I've been working with companies such as Secure Things based in Cambridge. Been here since May 2020, and I'll be pleased to be one of your hosts on today's seminar.
Okay, good morning. My name is John Min. I'm the Director of Solution Engineering at Andes. I've been in processing world since first IBM PC came out a long time ago. But I've worked on PCs, SP systems, and custom processing ASICs for the last 30 years, working at many companies like LG, HP, and CPU companies like MIPS, Imagination, and other companies. I'm glad to be here working with Chris Jones to sort of give you a glimpse of things that we're working on. Next slide. So just a quick overview of Andes' background on Andes. Andes is a CPU IP vendor. We design CPU for people to license and make chips. We are a 17-year-old public company based out of Taiwan. We've been involved with RISC-V since the beginning, and we're very active. Our founders have more than 100 years experience in Silicon Valley in large companies like DEC, Intel, and other companies. We're about 300 people worldwide, offices worldwide, and we surpassed 100 billion chips shipped with our cores last year. Next slide. So here are some of the sort of notable customers who are using our cores to make chips. Renesas is designing a general purpose ASSP, motor control devices for a larger market. We have some application specific chips like T-Link, making IoT devices that are very power wise, but very performance intensive. We're in large systems in Picocomm's 5G cells. And we have a very large company that we can't talk about who's doing an AI accelerator for social media kind of applications. So we have customers in very small space, big space, self-designed companies, and general purpose markets. Next slide. So here's sort of lineup of the cores that we have. So we have a very small core called N22 on lower left, designed to be what I say it's 8051 replacement. Think of it as a 32-bit 8051. It goes in, controls a lot of small devices. It's a state machine replacement. Along with that, we have general purpose processor 25 series, both embedded and the Linux applications. Series for vectors and very fast memory movement applications. And then lastly, we have 45 series, which is super scalar, multi-core designed for high performance applications. So that's a quick review of sort of what Andes is and what we do. We'll turn it over to Crypto Quantique and Chris.
Thanks, John. So this is a quick slide giving you an overview of who we are. So we're based in London, 35 full-time employees, a lot of smart people here. As you can see, we've got lots of PhDs, and we've got quite a mix in our team. So we have guys who are experts in cryptography, hardware on the IC side, both embedded software and cloud software. And of course, then we have our quantum physicists, because we do quite a bit of research into quantum physics, of course, because that's the basis of one of our products. So we've developed our own quantum-driven root of trust, and that's a hardware IP that you can put into silicon. We've done some certification on it as far as we can from an IP viewpoint. So we have PSA level 2 ready certified for the QDID side, and we've had some side channel attack analysis done on the QDID, and we've been told that we're EAL4+ ready as well if customers want to include that in their IP. So very highly flexible architecture from both our QDID and QuarkLink. So what's our vision and mission? So what we are trying to do is secure customers' connected devices with zero trust. What that means is that you don't have to trust any of the partners or companies in your supply channel when it comes to actually manufacturing your product. So that means you don't have to deal with programming houses that are maybe handling your software, or maybe they've got HSMs on their line and injecting keys. You don't need to trust these partners with our technology. With the QDID embedded in your product, the secrets are all held as part of the silicon structure of that chip, and they are not exposed to the outside world. So that's kind of our mission. Our vision really is to make sure that the use of this technology is very easy and seamless. Security is very complex, as you all know. You're dealing with certificates, keys, cryptographic algorithms. And what we're trying to do is in our software security platform, we're trying to make that as easy as possible for the user to use. So they don't have to worry about all the tech that's going on in the background. It's just easy to use. So that's the vision and mission here at Crypto Quantique. So we have two products. The first one I want to cover is our hardware IP block. So this is our quantum-driven unforgeable device ID. So this is an IP block that you use on your silicon device, SoC, ASIC, whatever. And it provides a unique fingerprint of that particular die that the IP has been integrated on. So it's hardware and MCU independent. It can go in any kind of hardware IP with any sort of system host controller. It's self-contained. It just has a simple Amber interface, so it's very easy to use. It just looks as a register file set. And of course, the key thing is it's immune to side channel attack. Because it's based on quantum tunneling currents, it means a lot of the classic side channel attacks, glitch, temperature, photon emission testing, all these are immune for this particular technology. It's very small silicon. It has a built-in error correction as well, so you don't need to worry about that kind of side of this kind of PUF technology. This is a PUF, it's a second generation PUF from us. It's very easy to help you onboard your device to the cloud service based on this zero touch philosophy that I mentioned earlier. And it's easy to use during wafer testing. And we've made sure that it has built-in self-test, so it's easy to test from the semiconductor viewpoint. It's very high entropy. It has multiple keys, so it's not just one single key, which is the classic with first generation PUF technology. You don't need a TRNG. It's very scalable, and as I said, because it's quantum-based, it's unforgeable. So you're going to need a fairly hefty quantum computer to be able to simulate or emulate the fingerprint on each individual die. But the key point of this technology is because you don't have to inject keys into your device. So if the IP is in your semiconductor device, during the manufacturing of that die, the fingerprint of the die is realized in the quantum ID. And from that, you can generate a key pair so that you can have the identity as provable. And that means you don't have to inject keys into your part. So you don't have to trust anybody on your manufacturing line. You don't have to trust any HSMs or programming houses. It's all on the silicon. It's really cool tech. With the QDID in your device, you can then use it with your Quark link, and this enables friction enrollment for provisioning onto your cloud service, and therefore it can manage your life cycle of your device, because the Quark link will handle all the certificates and keys. So again, this is talks to the seamless and ease of use of this technology with onboarding your connected devices. So the Quark link, so this is the software package security platform that we provide. It's agnostic to where it runs, so it can just run in the cloud anywhere you like or on your own server. We have different hosting options. And if you use this in collaboration with a QDID, it means you don't have to trust any programming houses I've mentioned. You don't need an HSM on your product line, manufacturing line, and you don't need to inject keys. So a lot of cost and complexity are removed by using the combination of these two products. So the Quark link automatically onboards your device to your backend services. It uses keys to encrypt the data from the actual device to your cloud application if needed. You become the OEM for your IoT infrastructure. You become the certificate authority, so you don't have to buy external certificates. And because the Quark link will manage the certificates and keys of your device, it means the product can manage the life cycle of the product, which means you can do firmware updates, certificate rotation, renewal, etc. Obviously, it supports the QDID to give you the maximum security, but it can also support other roots of trust. So this is just a quick summary of the two products that we have for Crypto Quantique. The QDID, which is the hardware IP that goes into your semiconductor device, and the Quark link is the security platform that manages the security of your connected device throughout its life cycle. Just to let you know, these are the partners that use our Quark link as part of their ecosystem. So you can go to the Renesas website and see us there. Andes, of course. Microchip, we're close to them because of their secure elements, which can be used as a root of trust, and the same as ST with their ST safe secure elements. Okay, over to you, John.
Yeah, so let's talk about the products or solutions that Andes provides to enable our partners like Crypto Quantique. We start with the processors. Processors always need some peripherals. You got to be able to talk to outside people. And then we have software development tools and software to quickly enable application-specific devices, or even to enable customers if you're developing more general purpose processor. Next slide. One specific enhancement we did is called custom streaming port. It uses Andes custom extensions, extension that will allow customers to extend the processor. And we designed this separate port to send commands and data back and forth. Initially, we were thinking we'll talk to AI accelerator, graphics accelerator, and accelerator. But Crypto Quantique is using this port to do a security accelerator to create a private bus that gives you predictable bandwidth and data isolation from the main bus or other devices on the bus. Next slide. So let's talk about how Crypto Quantique uses this port to provide more secure devices and secure environment. Next slide.
Right. Thanks, John. Okay, guys, so this is just showing you how we connect to Andes technology. So you can see here standard core connecting to a root of trust. You can see here the QDID inside a root of trust here. The QDID is providing the fingerprint of the device. It does, so it's basically seeds, unique seeds, and they are used to generate cryptographic keys to allow the device to prove its identity. So we need some other crypto IP surrounding the QDID, and this is just an example of where the QDID sits in a full root of trust. So we've got a use case here which we've come up, we've seen with customers where you can use it, the QDID in an IoT gateway. So this is where you have a concentration of IoT devices, maybe low-cost sensors, some cameras, other IoT devices, and they all connect to a gateway. It's kind of like a concentrator of it. So here you can see we have the QDID in the eSecure. This forms a root of trust, which allows it to connect securely to a Quark link. And the Quark link then allows it to onboard to a cloud service that may be managing the other devices that are connected to the gateway. So you have your RISC-V core here, your root of trust, with your quantum-driven identity embedded in it, and these other peripherals that are available to connect to the IoT devices for this particular gateway. So in summary, hopefully you've seen today our collaboration between us, Andes and Quantique. We will give you the most complete RISC-V solution. So we give you highly optimized processor cores, which you've seen, extensive software stacks, so you have plenty of support on that side. The root of trust provided by us and other IP blocks, and that will be quantum driven, so it will be state-of-the-art generation 2 security, and of course the cloud-based security platform. This means you can connect your IoT devices to the cloud really easily. It's the latest security technology, and we have professional IDEs as well to allow you to design this technology and these IPs onto your target silicon. What this does is enable you guys to build products with the most secure high-performance RISC technology available today. I'm sure you can see that. You don't have to trust partners in the supply chain. That's a key solution that we provide to you, so you don't have to trust them at all with regards to, as I mentioned, key injection, etc. This is all handled by the Quark link in conjunction with the QDID. This allows you to have easy onboarding, very simple to get you onboarded to the cloud, and therefore give you the lifecycle management throughout the lifecycle of your device, handling all the certificates, rotation, renewal, etc. And you don't need to be an expert in security and cloud connectivity when you use this technology. That's the whole point of the Quark link, to ease that for you. You don't need to understand it too in depth. So just something that's on the way, you may have seen some announcement with the Intel Pathfinder and how we've collaborated on that technology. So basically what we're saying here is look out for press releases on the collaboration between the two of us, and hopefully we can show you some more technology that'll help you with your products in the future. So thanks very much. So any questions, I think now we should look at.
All right, anyone that wants to have a question, just either raise your hands or just type it into the chat. All right, so let me offer the other option of either sending a question to me, Jonah M at andestech.com, and I'll forward them to the two Johns and Chris to get them answered for you. I want to thank you for your time today, and hope that you found this interesting and informative. And if we have no further questions, we'll end the webinar now. Any final comments from either of the panelists?
Just want to let you know that this was a sort of high-level presentation. We are planning on more detailed webinars. Perhaps we could get Intel to sponsor some of this as well, because they will be the first demonstration vehicle for demonstration validation vehicle for our technologies.
Yes, and guys, have a look at our website, cryptoquantique.com, if you want some more information on our QDID tech, and if you want to evaluate QuarkLink, then please send us an email, and we'll get that sorted for you.
Okay, so we do have one question. Are there any plans to support IAR eWarm toolchain?
Let me, I'm Googling what embedded workbench. Yes, embedded
Yes.
workbench already works with Andes cores. So we are working with IAR already. As we provide more advanced, higher performance processors, we're continuing to work with IAR to make sure that the embedded workbench works with our cores, or our cores work with embedded workbench development. So we've been working with them for about 4 years now.
All right. Thank you, Dwayne. Any other questions from the audience? All right. I think we're all set. Thanks again, guys, for your presentation.
Thank you, everyone.
And thanks everyone for joining us.
Thanks, everyone.